Hello everyone, this is Vito32 back again, and this is what's on Kickstarter. By the way, I get a lot of people requesting pictures and stuff of the decks that I talk about in my updates. If you want to see pictures, check out my Facebook group. I post pictures there all the time of new Kickstarter projects, especially the ones that I like. Or you can just search for playing cards on Kickstarter.com and you'll see all the pictures. It's quite simple. I know it'd be cool if I had the pictures in the video, but since I always do it via webcam, it's kind of hard to do it. Anyways, let's look at what's going on in Kickstarter. First of all, the Black Book of Cards, I mentioned it before, doing amazing. 300% funded. That's over $54,000. And there's still a couple more weeks to go. That one is just going nuts. People really like that one. Another new deck, or a couple new decks to talk about. One of them is the Bicycle Tinker deck. I know this one, I heard about this one several weeks ago. It finally launched. It is a steampunk themed deck. Some people are comparing the back design to the X-Raiders deck. It is similar, but it's different. The faces are completely different. Looks really nice. It's almost funded. It's almost 70% funded to be exact. And still a few more weeks to go. So make sure you check it out. If there's enough funding, I think there's going to be a second deck. It should be cool. The Imperial Playing Cards by Midnight Playing Card Company and House of Playing Cards has 7 hours left. If you haven't checked it out or picked it up yet, make sure you do so. There's 2 decks in there, a red version and a black version. The black one is Bicycle branded. So I just seen somebody at the neighbor's house. And there's also a new gold version. However, I have to reach like $35,000 before that gold deck is available. Let me tell you, the gold deck looks amazing. It's got tons of features, tons of metallic, tons of foil on the box, metallic inks, etc., embossing, I'm sure. It looks amazing, but it's going to cost a lot of money, so it needs to reach $35,000 to make it happen. It's not going to happen though, unfortunately. Another deck of cards is the Civil Unrest. It's a Civil War themed deck. It's slowly getting there. It just started recently. It's got almost a month left. It may or may not make it. The back design could use some improvement. It's especially in the color, but the court cards and the pips and everything are pretty interesting. And it's got this Civil War. It's got the Civil War theme to it. So clubs and spades have a Confederate flag design on the pips, and they're in a gray color. And diamonds and hearts have a stars and stripes theme to the pips, and it's in a blue and white color, or in a blue color I should say. And then the court cards have images of different Civil War era people, and it just looks really amazing. The faces look amazing. The back design's a little but it's not bad, and you should definitely check it out. Another deck, it's new sort of, is the Iron Kings playing cards. This is one that was on before as a bicycle deck. It failed horribly. It's back now. It's not USPC. They're only looking for $2,000. They got 12 days left, and they only need about $600 more, so it's probably going to make it. However, considering none of this guy's projects have made it so far, there's a big question mark there. I don't know if it will make it or not, especially since it's not USPC, and we don't know who's printing it. If they hit $6,500, it will be USPC. Don't know how he's going to make that happen, because usually you need like $10,000 or $12,000 for a USPC deck, and $6,500 just does not seem like it's enough unless he's pumping in a lot of money himself. But then he's probably going to have a hard time finding money for shipping, I'm guessing. But anyways, like I said, he said this is like, he's had 3 different decks on Kickstarter. None of them has made it. He seems desperate almost to get these decks printed. One of them, the Bicycle Emotions deck, actually was sold to collectibleplayingcards.com, and they're selling it there. And the other ones, but it failed on Kickstarter originally, and the Iron Kings has failed. The Creepy deck just failed, so I don't know. Another new deck, which I don't know if it's going to make it or not, is the Gestalt, however you pronounce it. It's a modern deck of playing cards. They're trying to reimagine playing cards. It's interesting. The faces are different than anything we've seen before. The back design is kind of boring. It's just gray with white horizontal stripes. The faces feature colors. The clubs have a green color, diamonds a light blue color, hearts a red color, and spades is a black color. The pips have some new orientations. Some of them are the same or similar. And the court cards just feature a crown of some type, or for the spades, it's basically a shield or an emblem of some sort. Jokers is just a jester hat, and it's gray basically. And it's kind of interesting, but at the same time, I don't know if I'm feeling it or not. If they make enough money, there's going to be an expansion deck. Expansion deck with more suits and colors. There's circles, which is an orange color. Stars, which is a purple color. Triangles, which is a turquoise aqua color. And plus signs, which is basically a bright orange color. And other weird cards that I don't know what they are. Kind of interesting, but I don't know if it's going to make it. It might be a little bit too much for some people. I don't know. We'll see. Another update, the Persian Empire playing cards, it is now Bicycle deck, is 90% funded, and there's 13 hours to go if you want to get this one. Now is the time to do it. It did fail originally, but it wasn't a USB-C deck, I believe. I don't recall exactly. And there was a lot of scandals regarding it, because the guy was saying he spent a year creating all the artwork, and turns out it was all copy and paste. He's still saying it's designed by him, but whatever. Apparently he's got some goals. If he hits $14,000, it's going to be new aces. $17,500. It's a magic finish. $19,000 custom seal with a sticker right over the box flap, I guess. And then if you hit $30,000, it'd be a Royal Edition, a silver deck. Unfortunately, I don't know if he's going to make it. I mean, it's still 12 hours to go. That's lots of time. But it's been really slow, and he needs $2,000 more. So I don't know if it's going to happen. We'll see. Also, the Believe playing cards by System 6 Magic are now up and running on Kickstarter. I think I mentioned it last week. Pretty cool deck. 99% funded. There's still a couple more weeks to go, but that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. It's almost funded. 99%. Another new deck is the Reflections playing card deck from a Canadian, I believe. Yes, it is from a Canadian. It's a USB-C deck. It features a kind of simple back design, and it's borderless, of all things. The faces are basically standard on the court cards. However, they are mirror imaged, and on the other side, from your standard court card, it's a mirror image, and it's a skeleton instead of your standard face, and the pip is broken, or cracked, if you will. So it's kind of interesting. It is kind of standard, and to me, it seems like they're looking for too much money. They're looking for $20,000. That seems like it's a bit much. It's very slow. I don't think it's going to be successful, but it is kind of interesting. The Awakened Villagers of Cairn playing cards, as I mentioned before, a couple updates. 3 days left, only 36% funded. Shall we say it's not going to succeed? The Pharaoh playing cards by collectibleplayingcards.com. Funded. 3 days left. If you're looking for them, pick them up now, because when they sell them on the website, they're going to be more money. That's for sure. So think about that. A lot of times people won't look at Kickstarters because a lot of the time people look at Kickstarter decks and they want them, but they can't afford them or don't want to pay right now. And they figure they'll pick them up later. But if you pick it up later, it will cost more money, for sure. The Blue Blood deck, the Blue Blood Redux deck from Usai, however you pronounce it, is funded. 8 days left. Make sure you pick it up. Another new deck is the Salvation playing cards, which is a religion-themed deck. It's looking for $12,000, I believe, but doesn't say who's printing it, so it seems to be a little bit too much money. And actually, based on the image that he's got that shows the front and the back of the cards, it looks like it might just be Zazzle or something like that. I really don't know. Like I said, religious theme. The back design of the cards features Jesus Christ holding a lamb, and it says salvation in the corner, and in the faces is just readings from the Bible. So far, he's got $88. It's not going to make it. I'm pretty sure it's not going to make it. Then there's the Melee's playing cards, which is based on that Trip to the Moon film. I mentioned this one before. 10 days to go. If you haven't checked it out, make sure you do. It's 73% funded. It's going to be close. I don't know if it's going to make it or not. Another new deck is the Bars of Phoenix Fantasy playing cards. 52 card bucket list. Basically, it's a deck that features 52 bars, taverns, pubs, and breweries on the faces of each card. It's a custom souvenir deck. Apparently, it's USB-C. It's 3% funded. That's it, 3%. And there's a few more weeks to go, 22 days to be exact. I don't see this one being successful. It's just too small of a demographic that they're going for, and $10,000 is a lot of money, and a USB-C deck for what is a souvenir deck. I don't see any other souvenir decks on Kickstarter, and if there are, they're usually not successful. And they have plans to do other cities as well, like Seattle and Miami and other cities across the U.S. But don't get your hopes up. I don't think it's going to happen. Also, if I didn't mention it, the Diamond Cut playing cards are back. Still 20 days to go. It's not USB-C this time unless they get a whole bunch of funding. It's going to be makeplayingcards.com. Obviously, this guy really wants to get these cards printed, so he's doing what he can to do that. Nothing wrong with makeplayingcards.com as long as it's a good start and finish. So you might want to check it out. The Caravan of Seers fortune-telling playing cards is not going to make it. Only 22% funded. There's still 5 days to go. I mean, it could make it, but I don't see it happening. And the creator has pretty much given up. However, she will be relaunching with just one deck, I believe, a gray version that people seem to be more interested in than the other two versions. And I'm not sure if it's going to be USB-C or not, but we'll see what happens. With one deck and less funding, it might actually make it. Another new deck is a cheap one. It's a 5-in-1 drinking game deck. Basically, the cards all feature different categories for this drinking game, and that's it. The back design just says "See Student." The party takes priority, and you see in the background a bunch of students partying. It's another Canadian deck, and another one that's not going to make it, unfortunately. So far, there's a few Canadian decks on Kickstarter, and none of them are doing too good, or look like they're going to make it. Anyway, Bicycle Evolution from Elite Playing Cards, funded as of a couple days ago. Looking forward to getting that one. Another new deck, sort of, is the Tri-Deck Playing Cards. This one is a special game. It reminds me, it's similar to Rummy, and it also reminds me of Phase 10. It's not a standard deck of cards. You don't have your standard pips. In fact, what you get is circles, triangles, squares, and rectangles in 4 different colors, numbered 1 through 4. That's the whole deck. There's a couple of games that come with it. But basically, it's like Rummy. It's being made by customizedplayingcards.com, which is not that good quality. And it's not going to make it, I don't think. And it's just, it's not the kind of deck that you people are looking for. But I figured I'd mention it anyways. Another deck that I like is the Canadiana deck. Excuse me. By Phil DaCosta, PDC Magic on YouTube, in case you're wondering. The Canadiana deck is a cool Canadian themed deck. The first one that I've ever seen. Each court card features a different Canadian magician, including Bill Abbott, Juliana Chen, Phil DaCosta himself, Julie Eng, Celeste Evans. Most of these people I'm not even familiar with. Some of these people I'm not even familiar with myself, but whatever. Son Farquhar, I like him. Greg Frewen, Jason Poulter, Richard Sanders, and that's that. E. Katerina, who you might be familiar with from Illusionist and Fear 11, was contacted, but she declined for creative reasons, I guess. The Spade court cards feature Canadian sports. The King is basketball, which is invented by a Canadian, and it features a king spinning the ball on his finger. The Queen is hockey, and the Jack is lacrosse, apparently Canada's national summer sport. I should mention that the spades are actually made up of maple leaves, and basically the hearts and diamonds are a red color, spades are a burgundy, almost brown color for spades and clubs, and it looks pretty cool. I think originally he planned to do some other different pips, but he didn't. Just the spades, which I think is awesome. And I mean, what better spade, or what better, pip to have for a spade than the maple leaf, because it looks almost the same. The back design features lots of maple leaves, some red, some white, and it's all red and white. It looks pretty cool to me. The box is a little bit, could be a little bit better, I think, but it's not bad. It is a USB-C deck. You should check it out. It needs more funding. I don't think it's going to make it. It hasn't even hit $1,000 after almost a week. But time will tell. I know there's been a lot of people not too happy with it on the forums, so we'll see what happens. Another new deck I'll mention is the Mafia Wars playing cards. This is not related to that Facebook game that everyone likes. To me, it's a copyright issue. It's the same name, but they don't see it as that. Apparently there's a stretch goal for a USB-C deck, but I don't think it's going to make it at all. It's only 6% funded with 16 days to go. And to me, it looks nearly identical to the very, very similar to the New York Lights deck that was on Kickstarter several months ago. In fact, the creator of this deck actually backed that project, and the creator of that deck actually backed the Mafia Wars project. They're both from San Diego. Seems very weird and suspicious that both creators would have similar, very, very similar themed decks and style, pretty much the same style for the court cards and the aces and the pips. Just one is a black face and the other is a white face deck. But they're almost identical, and they're both from San Diego. It almost makes me beg the question of whether or not it's from the same person. I don't know. And the All Jokers Transformation deck from Man-Made Games was funded. To me, I don't trust Man-Made Games because they haven't delivered on any of their most recent projects. The Permaculture playing cards were successfully funded. No big surprise there. They had $70,000. Outrageous for a deck that is basically just plants and animals and stuff like that on the faces. And I'll see if there's anything else. There's some new decks coming up. There's a Steampunk Pirate deck coming up from Nat Iwata, who's produced a Steampunk Cthulhu deck. This is basically a sequel to it. And he also had an Elves and Orcs deck, which is coming in the near future. And also, another new deck is the from a Canadian one, might be the first successful Canadian Kickstarter if we're lucky, is the Metropole Knox deck. I might have mentioned it last week. It's a black face deck. 4 different colors for each suit, or a different color for each suit, and it basically looks like a good fanning and cardistry deck, so you might want to check it out once it launches. I'll update you on that when I can. It should launch any day now. And I think that's all I got from the world of Kickstarter. I apologize for the video being a little bit long. I think that's all I got. I can't think of anything else from Kickstarter. Any other decks? I should mention I'm still waiting for my Quicksilver playing cards. I'm still waiting for my Core playing cards. I'm still waiting for my Ultraviolet playing cards. I'm still waiting for my Synthesis Cyberpunk playing cards. And a bunch of other decks, I'm sure. Well, most of the other ones are still to be printed. The native art decks will be coming soon. I will mention there's still a lot of issues going on with the Founders playing cards. It looks like the guy has gone MIA, missing in action. People are starting to contact his Facebook friends to find out where the hell the guy is. I looked at the comments. There's all sorts of people going to the police, going to the FBI, going to the newspapers in Washington, and filing complaints with the Attorney Generals. If you did back that project, I did not, fortunately. I suggest you take action, report it to somebody. If you're outside the country, I don't know what you can do if you're outside the U.S., but if you're in the U.S., report it to your Attorney General, report it to the FBI on the website, report it to your local police department, whatever. And the big controversy is that apparently the guy that designed this deck, that did this project, actually designed the Obama logo and is pretty vocal about that. So now all of a sudden he is basically scamming people, and they're irate and they're taking action. And he's basically gone missing. Posted an update. This is another thing. He posted an update in July 24th saying that the decks were made. He was getting them, getting the other stuff. Somebody contacted the USPC. Not sure how they got this information, because USPC usually does not give this out, but they said that they have not printed any decks and haven't received any money to print any decks, and yet he's saying that they have been printed and he's receiving them soon. Very suspicious. Lots of pissed off people there. Anyways, that's what I've got. I'll see you next time.